Hello, this is Sandy with Sandy's Crafted Creations, and here we are with day 12 of my 13 Frights Before Halloween. It's getting real close to the end. We have constructed our book box, and I'm going to pattern it today, and I will give you the measurements. I almost didn't have enough of the 12 by 12 papers left, but I was able to come up with enough to cover the outside and inside of the box. Tomorrow we will decorate the top of the box, the front of it, and then we will be done in time for Halloween. So let's get started on this. First, we're going to pattern the front and back of the box. And I have already inked all the pieces to save time on the video, and I've added my score tape on the areas that I want to make sure it really sticks down. So anything on the outside or along the edges, you do want to use score tape, and then I'm going to use HG gun tape runner on the center. So for the first piece of paper, on the very front of the box, we want it to be 5 1/4 wide by 7 3/4 tall. So that's 5 1/4 wide by 7 3/4 tall. I cut two, one for the front and one for the back. So I'm going to peel the backing off, and then I'm going to add ATG gun tape runner to the center section here. So I'm peeling this off. Move this out of the way so you can see, and I'm going to just add some more adhesive because I want to make sure it sticks down good and smoothly. I want to use this instead of glue because I don't want it to be get bubbly or have any kind of wrinkles in it. So I have a piece of paper here on that. I'm going to leave that there. So like I said, I've already inked these, and make sure you're paying attention to the direction of your paper so that it's going on not upside down. We don't want that. Stick this one down here. I want about the same amount on the top, bottom, and the side. This is not as critical because this is going to be covered. But anyway, turn it over and do the same thing on the back. And just make sure you are not putting it on upside down. So that's real important for that. I had a bit of trouble getting that one off, so overlapped because I didn't get it all the way to the end. Okay, there's that one. TG gun right quick. Same here. Put this on. Now we also want to cover our rounded piece. So you pay attention when you're cutting this out. Cardstock also has a direction that bends. See how easy that bends? And the other way, not as much. It's a little stiffer, you can tell. So this one is 7 3/4 tall by 8 inches wide, and you want the bend to be across the 8-inch wide like this. So I'm going to peel this off. Now this is a little bit more tricky getting it to stick down smoothly, so take your time with this piece because we want it to stick down good. So I've got all that corners done. Make sure I have adhesive here, and I put it on pretty solid. And again, I don't want to use glue because I've found that sometimes it does warp, depending on your humidity where you live, for some reason. I mean, I think there's times when I was positive I had it down burnished good with my hands and really smooth, and then I find out that, go back and look at it a few months later and it's got wrinkles in it. So got this ready. So I'm going to turn it over and start on the front side. So I'm going to turn it over this way to see how much we've got. Kind of want equal amounts. So it looks like about 2 inches on the front here, maybe 1.5 inches to 2 inches, and line it up with the paper. Kind of line it up right there. Get it nice and straight as possible. Burnish it down on the front and bring it around nice and smooth on the spine. And bring it all the way around and line it up here on the back with your paper. Okay. So see, that gives you a nice smooth spine there. And this opens up. Now you do need to fold this here. And then I take my bone folder. And you could have scored this in advance. I have done that before. You know, put a score mark here. But I'm just going to work it with this very gently. I don't want it to crack the paper. And get a score here to help it lay down. Okay, so we're going to make the pieces for this long side and the ends to look like pages. So you use black cardstock, and this piece is 2 3/4, just under 2 3/4 wide by 6 and just a tad over 6 7/8. So you'll have to measure your box and cut it to fit. The 2 end pieces are just a little hair over 5 inches long by just a tad over 2 5/8. So you take your piece and put it in so that's the long ways, the short ways at the top, and you're going to score at every 1/8 of an inch. Just these are grooves. These are not folding lines. We're just doing a groove to make it look like the pages of a book. You're going to do all 3 pieces the same. So when you get to a point where you can't hold it very good, just turn it and go ahead and finish it out. Every tick mark, every 1/8 mark on your scoreboard. If your scoreboard doesn't have 1/8 of an inch, it's probably going to be a little hard for you to do that. I use the Martha Stewart. I do think the new Score Pals have the 1/8 inches marked for you. You might could just scoot over and do it. So this gives you this nice ridged, indented look. You'll do the same on the short ones. Put the short length at the top and then score every 1/8 of an inch. So we've got the papers ready. I have added score tape to the back sides of each one of these. It doesn't matter whether you use the dented or the raised side, just as long as they're the same. So I'm going to peel this off. And take this one on the end, and you're just going to cover one end here, kind of make it, and it's cut pretty close to the edges so that it does look like the whole thing is attached together. So then we'll do the long one. Turn this up and get it on there, right there. See how that looks like the grooves of pages. And the last one. Some of these are showing right there. I don't want it showing. Okay, almost done with the patterning of the box. Let me switch out my tape ATG gun. there's the pages of our book box. And then I want to do the little edges. So I've cut 3 pieces. These are, I cut them down to 1/2 inch, and then I took my scissors to make them smaller because they've got to be less than 1/2 inch. So I have 2 short ones that are 5 inches long, and then one long one that's, I think it's 8, see here, 7 7/8 long. So I'm going to use glue on these because I want to make sure they really stick down good. Let's see if I can get my glue going again. So be generous with the glue. It may ooze out and you'll just have to wipe that off. Make sure it sticks down. And I'm just going to insert it. I'll show you after I get it down. Oops. I think I cut it a little too short. Let me double check these. Yeah, they need to be, I'm going to put the long one on first, and then I'm going to recut my little short ones because I didn't have it quite long enough. This one is, yeah, long enough. So this one is correct. So I'm going to add the glue on this one, and then I'll recut these other 2. I cut them a little bit too short, so disregard those measurements. And use your own ruler and measure your own box to make sure you're covering the area you want to cover. And see that it's going to be right there on the edge. Okay, now I want to remeasure and make sure I'm bringing it all the way up to the cut edge. So it is 5 1/4 long. So I'm going to recut those. 2 new strips cut. These are 5 1/4 long, and I cut them down. I trimmed them to match up so that the distance from the edge matches the other one. That's already down. So I'll put glue, and again you're just attaching it to this 1/2 inch lip edge on the base of the box, but you don't want it a full 1/2 inch. You want some of the black to be showing. And I'm putting it down with glue to make sure it sticks. On the other side, sure. And then I didn't ink before, but this is where I ink to kind of finish it off at the joints and everything. So ink the edges, get some more ink out. And there it is. You've got the lips edges patterned, and the book box is patterned and ready for decorating, which we will do tomorrow, which will be our last day of the 13 Frights of Halloween. It's almost Halloween, and we'll have this project completed in time for Halloween and for use as a decor piece, and to add photos from your trick-or-treaters or parties or whatever you're doing this Halloween. And my little book fits down inside. Because I made it deeper, it will close just fine. And there it is. And all we need to do is add decorating, and we'll do that tomorrow. See you then. Bye-bye.